Travel is an amazing way to experience new places. Wellness is being physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy. The Sweet Dreams Wellness Travel Podcast is all about exploring travel and wellness. I'm Barbara Tuckett, your host and the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel. Part of our emotional and mental health is connection, and I believe that traveling with the intention to connect can bring wellness to your life. In this podcast, I explore traveling for connection, connecting with places and experiences, connecting especially with people, the people you're traveling with, the people you meet, and especially connecting with yourself. I want your travel to improve your wellness. Hey everybody, hope you're doing great. I am doing fabulous. Welcome to summer. So we have a really fun trip that we are talking about today, along with a really great destination. You cannot visit New Zealand without having some new adventures. Welcome to the land of hobbits and breathtaking scenery and experiences. Yes, today we are going to be talking about New Zealand. And then once I talk about the don't miss locations to visit in New Zealand, then I'm going to share an itinerary with you that is just really fun that I created for some clients. Today we are going to take essentially a virtual tour of the 5 best places to visit in New Zealand with gorgeous landscapes and these amazing cities, Kiwi charm, and then this personalized itinerary that I was referring to for some Hobbit-loving clients who are spending their honeymoon in New Zealand, and they are leaving really soon. I'm very excited for them to get to experience this itinerary that I will share with you later. So let's jump in and talk about these 5 amazing places to go if you are thinking about a trip to New Zealand. The first one is Auckland. New Zealand has a North Island and a South Island, and Auckland is in the heart of New Zealand's North Island. It's this vibrant, multicultural city. It's got amazing, beautiful scenery around it. So just some suggestions or ideas for what you could do if you have a little bit of time in Auckland. You can take a stroll along the waterfront at the Viaduct Harbor. You'll find like all these cute little cafes and restaurants, and then there's just some luxury yachts like over bobbing along in the marina. You can go to the iconic Sky Tower. Now this tower is it reminds me of the Space Needle in Seattle. It's a little different because you can do a skywalk or a sky jump from the Sky Tower. So conquer your fear of heights and explore the Sky Tower. A fun little side note, if you are visiting Auckland, you can go to the nearby Waiheke Island, and it has these beautiful vineyards and beautiful beaches. So it's not all just cityscape. You can get out of town and go see some fun things also. Okay, so those are some highlights from Auckland. The next place we're going to talk about is Queenstown. Queenstown is known as the adventure capital of New Zealand. So this would be a really fun place if you wanted to do some exciting adrenaline type of activities. It's right on the shores of Lake Wakatipu, and there's just like so many fun activities or adventure activities that you can do in this area. For example, bungee jumping or skydiving or jet boating, but you also can do some stuff that's a little more, not so adventurous. Like, for example, they have a gondola, so you can take a ride up to the top of Bob's Peak and just look out all across the scenery. The mountain range in the area is called the Remarkables Mountain Range. There is also this beautiful place called Milford Sound that is close by Queenstown. It's this beautiful fjord, and it just is incredible. It's just so gorgeous with the water and the scenery all around it, the waterfalls and everything. Anyway, so Milford Sound right around Queenstown is a must-see. Okay, number 3 idea for places you should visit in New Zealand is Rotorua. And Rotorua is known as this geothermal experience and a place where you can just really soak up all of these geysers and hot springs and mud pools. We're still on the North Island with Queenstown and Rotorua and Auckland. It also, there is a lot of Maori culture nearby. And so you can go to the, I'm probably going to totally butcher this name, but it's called the Wakawarewa. I think I totally said that all wrong. It's got so many syllables. Waka Arewarewa. I don't even know how to say it. Thermal Village. Sorry, I totally butchered it. But anyway, that is where they have traditional dances and performances, and it's really cool to see some of this Maori traditional culture. But you also can just like actually get into some of the mineral waters and the hot springs. There's a Polynesian spa, so you can experience some of it. And this is fun too. Rotorua is known for being able to go zorbing. And I actually, when I first heard the word zorbing, I had to look it up because I wasn't sure what that was. But zorb balls or zorbs are those big balls that you get inside. It's like a human hamster wheel. I've played bubble soccer in them before, but you get inside of and you go rolling down the hills. And some of them are more steep and some of them are more gentle. Anyway, so that is called zorbing. I didn't know that there was a term for that. But anyway, you can do that in Rotorua. So Rotorua is a fun area to visit also in New Zealand. You can see why I'm talking about these great adventures and all this fun stuff you can do in New Zealand. Okay, number 4 spot is called Wellington. And Wellington is this cool little capital of New Zealand. It's right at the very southern tip of the North Island, so right at the very bottom edge. And there's just such this great mix of culture and creativity and scenery, kind of like all of these places I've mentioned so far. But there's the National Museum here, and it's called Te Papa Tongarewa, and you can learn about New Zealand's fascinating history and heritage and all the things. There's a Wellington cable car that you can take a ride on when you can see all these beautiful views of the city. And there is also a botanic garden in Wellington. And the culinary scene in Wellington is amazing. So you definitely could take a food tour or at least go check out the local restaurants and make sure that you enjoy plenty of food in Wellington. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, this is the 5th and final spot that I'm going to tell you about for New Zealand, and it's Christchurch. Christchurch is the only one of these destinations that I'm telling you about that is located on the South Island. So there were some really devastating earthquakes in 2010 and 2011 that affected Christchurch, but since then they have totally rebuilt and rebounded and just really made some incredible just strides in redoing a lot of things that were damaged in the earthquakes. But now they are just really a symbol of creativity and strength, and they just have come back even stronger. If you go in the city center, you will see some beautiful, vibrant street art. There's botanic gardens here in Christchurch as well. There's a local river called the Avon River, and you can just you can ride a boat down the Avon River. And they also have a gondola ride that you can ride and get to see the city. You can see the Southern Alps and the Canterbury Plains from the gondola ride. So you can tell that all of these places, even though they're towns really and cities that I'm mentioning, they just have like so many great things to do and such a great diversity. So now I'm going to switch gears, and I wanted to talk you through this itinerary that I set up for Danny and Braden. They are going to be honeymooning in New Zealand. Their goals were they wanted to see the country, of course, and experience New Zealand, the North and South Islands, but they also wanted some Lord of the Rings / Hobbit scenery and touring. And they wanted some wellness, some adventure, some exploration. And so you can tell that this country is perfect for all of that. All right, so let's see if I can, so I can talk you through the itinerary. All right, so this is what they're doing for their honeymoon, but for you, you could do this type of thing. It's completely customized to what they wanted. And so you could do similar, or we could switch it around. We could do some of the components and not all of them, whatever you wanted. Okay, so that's why I thought it would be a fun one to share, because it's just so versatile. All right, so when you are flying to New Zealand, your flight departs on one day. You basically skip a day because you are crossing the international date line and then arrive the next day. So it looks like, from here at home perspective, it looks like your flight departs on day one and you're not arriving until day 3. But it's actually because you're crossing the international date line, and so you actually lose an entire day on the way over. So Danny and Brayden are going to, their first stop is Auckland, New Zealand. That's where they're going to fly into. And I'll give you a few other details as we go along. So Auckland is known as the city of sails, and there are 2 large harbors. It's the largest city in New Zealand, and 1 out of every 6 people in Auckland owns a boat. Isn't that funny? So Auckland is a great place to start your vacation. They are going to pick up a rental car, and then they'll drop it off at a whole different airport after they explore a little bit. So they will stay at a hotel called City Life Auckland, and they're going to be there for 3 nights. So they are going to get to explore and just really do some fun things around and in Auckland when they first arrive. So the hotel that they're staying in, City Life Auckland, is located right in Queen Street, and they can just walk to some really great restaurants. They can walk to the Sky Tower. They could walk to the ferry terminal. So it's in a really great location, and they have shopping around. And anyway, so it's really nice. It's really a nice location where they can have easy access to everything and see everything. You can see I'm showing just a picture of what the hotel looks like, what the rooms look like. They've got a pool. They've got just, nice rooms, and they're going to be staying there for 3 nights. Okay. After they check in, and the next day, they are going to do the Hobbiton Express and movie set tour. So this is an 8-hour tour. It leaves at 7 a.m. and gets back at 3. And they're going to get picked up right at their hotel. They get to travel south from Auckland over to the Waikato region, go to the little town of Cambridge, and it just is this cute little English style town. And then you go through some more green hills, and that is where you get into the Shire, which is the Hobbit village, little countryside called the Shire. So you get to the Shire's Rest, and you get to go, and this is where you start on the movie set. And so you get to do the movie tour. This is the largest green set in the world, and the only place where you actually have this movie set in a supernatural setting. And so you really can see where they filmed it, and it just feels so authentic. There are 44 Hobbit holes. There's a mill, there's a double arch bridge, the party tree, the Green Dragon Inn. Like, it's so amazing. You can take a picture at the door of Bilbo's house, which is called Bag End. Look out over the whole set and just see the green hills in the distance. You'll have lunch there at the Shire's Rest Cafe. And anyway, I just wanted to look through a couple of these pictures because they're just so cute. They're just so fun. It just looks like straight from the movie, all the things from the Shire, all the cute little Hobbit houses and everything. Anyway, so fun. So that is what they're going to do on that day. The next day, they are going to drive to a place called Taupo. And Taupo is on the northeast corner of Lake Taupo, has scenic views all the way across to the volcanic peaks of Tongariro National Park. So this is the main town, and it's just a really great place to be. And this is going to be their home base for a couple of nights. So they're done with Auckland. They'll get to Taupo, check in. The place where they are going to stay in Taupo is called the Chalet Eiger, and it's on the shores of Lake Taupo. It's just in this beautiful little place. And the hosts here, they speak 9 languages, so they are super well versed in a whole bunch of different, they've been all over, and they have, just this fun, authentic cosmopolitan kind of charm. Anyway, there's private decks, there's automated touchscreen pads to control your lighting and the temperature and the music. There's super comfortable beds. Anyway, and there's a chef on site, who is also one of the owners, and the chef is an advocate of slow food, and so it's just very healthy and just anyway, just beautiful, beautiful, amazing property to stay in, and they're going to stay here for a couple of nights. And while they are there, while they are here, they are going to do a Polynesian spa signature aches therapy. So it's a hydrotherapy spa treatment, and they specialize in this special therapy. There's Vichy showers and Italian Vichy beds. So you start with a dry, full body polish exfoliation, and then multiple jets of warm water stream across your body. And then you get a full body coconut oil relaxation massage. So it's just so amazing that they are going to get to participate in this spa experience. So they'll stay for a couple of nights. Besides the spa, they just get to kind of explore on their own. Okay, after Taupo, they are heading to Wellington. Wellington, I may have mentioned earlier, I don't know if I did, but it's the restaurant capital of New Zealand. So fun. There's street performers, and there's ethnic restaurants, and there's funky bars, and there's cafes, and anyway, all the things. Lots of different great places to eat. There's, great art museums. There's a national orchestra that's here. And anyway, so they are going to stay in Wellington for 2 nights, and they'll stay at a place called the QT Wellington. And this is such a fun place. They say their claim to fame is that they have a really comprehensive collection of New Zealand contemporary art. So it's just really fun. They've got art all over the walls, and you can see it's just decorated really cool. It's right across from the Te Papa Museum that I talked about, and it's a great location. They've got a couple of restaurants right on site that you can try, or you can eat at other places close by. Obviously, since Wellington is the restaurant capital of New Zealand, you've got to try some really great things. So in Wellington, after they get there, so one of the reasons that I'm sending them to Wellington is because they get to do this really cool experience called the Weta Cave and Workshop. Okay, so Wellington has a whole bunch of these Weta, WETA, workshop artisans. And they have worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, King Kong, Chronicles of Narnia, Avatar, like lots of different movies, not just Hobbit-based movies. But basically, they have this whole experience, and they showcase the making of like the movie effects and the props, the armor, the weapons, the creatures, the costumes, the makeups, the miniatures, all the things. And so it's so cool. So this great tour that they are going to get to do while they're in Wellington. So you arrive to the Weta Cave, and then there's just this little 30-minute behind the scenes film that showcases the history of it and kind of brings everything together. And then after that, then you go on a guided tour of the Weta Cave workshop. So you can learn about like all of the different props and things that they made for Lord of the Rings, for Narnia. And you get this Weta technician that is your guide, and they'll just explain the magic behind the movies. And anyway, it's just so fun. There also is an authentic Thunderbirds Are Go shooting stage, and you get to look at all of the little miniature little environments that are there. Anyway, so cool. There are no photography or videos or anything allowed in this workshop experience, but it's just a really fun kind of behind the scenes way to just see how all of these different movie aspects are done. So it's so cool. Anyway, okay, so that is part of while they are in Wellington. Now, they'll stay a couple days, then they'll return their rental car to the Wellington airport, and from there they will fly to Christchurch and pick up their new rental car. So in Christchurch, they're only going to be there one night. They'll just long enough to pick up the car and kind of get settled on the other island, which now they are on. They're going to stay at a hotel called the Hotel Montreal Christchurch. It's just this great little hotel right in the heart of the city. It just is, anyway, it's right by a place called Hagley Park, and they're just really generous sized rooms, and they just are very comfortable. They're just kind of modern and contemporary looking, but it's really easy to get around town. So they'll have, in that one night that they are staying in Christchurch, they'll have the ability to like walk to and see a lot of the things that are there local. Okay, so we are now up to day 10. I know you probably haven't been counting, and I haven't really been announcing day by day, but so we're up to day 10, and they are going to drive to a place called Franz Josef. Now, Franz Josef is a glacier, and it is incredible. It descends to just 250 meters above sea level, but it's in the middle of this green, lush, temperate rainforest. So it's just so amazing. It's the Franz Josef Glacier is the steepest. It's the fastest moving glacier in all of New Zealand. And many glaciers across the world have been retreating, but the Franz Josef Glacier is still flowing almost down to sea level through this rainforest area. It's so cool. So it's such a great combination of ice plus a temperate rainforest. So it's just so unique. Anyway, when they get to Franz Josef, they are going to stay in this amazing place called the Te Waunui Forest Retreat, and they're going to stay there for 3 nights. So this is like away from the city and just in all of this lush, amazing wilderness place. And like I said, it's right by where the glacier is right there. So this is where they are also going to get to do a little bit more wellness here. They'll just get to explore the area on their own, but this is just really a beautiful, beautiful retreat resort area, and they've got an amazing spa there. So really, I just left them on their own, that they can explore the Franz Josef area on their own. They can have spa treatments. They can just really relax and enjoy. So then after the 3 nights there, they are going to drive back to Queenstown. And in Queenstown, they are going to stay 4 nights at the Queenstown Park Boutique Hotel. So this is also a really great little, it's only got 19 rooms. So it's a small little hotel, but it still was designed by a leading architect, and it has New Zealand owners. So local owners. So it's not just like a national chain. And you can see I'm scrolling through like these great pictures, and you can see they're just so fun to see what this little boutique hotel looks like. Okay, so one of the days from Queenstown, they are going to do the Safari of the Scenes. So basically what this is a safari where they get to go out and see the Middle Earth types of scenery from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So they're going to go off-roading, basically in 4-wheel drive vehicles. They'll go along the shores of Lake Wakatipu and toward Glenorchy. Anyway, it includes the film locations. It shows you Isengard and the Ithilien camp, and then plus the forests that were used for Lothlorien. Anyway, the different battles, and anyway, it's just so cool. It's hard to like describe it all because there's just so much involved. This whole entire tour is 9.5 hours. They pick you up at 8 a.m. and just take you off on this amazing scenic drive, and there's lots of stops along the way, and it's just so fun. So that little safari is called Safari of the Scenes because it's the scenes of Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings. Okay, another day while they are in the area is they are going to take a helicopter ride. And this is a 2-hour, and it's over Milford Sound. Remember I talked about how Milford Sound is so amazing in the Queenstown area, and basically there's this famous peak that is there called Mitre Peak, and you'll just get to fly across like the forests and the rivers and land in Milford, and then you get to do a short nature walk and get to see Mitre Peak up close, and then you'll fly back It's just so amazing. And you get to see like Mount Tutuko Glacier which is part of the Fiordland National Park. So it's a really cool helicopter ride that they will get to go on while they're there. Another day, like isn't this so full of adventure? It's just such fun stuff. They get to do this, aspiring wilderness experience. So this is another long day. It's from 8 to 4. And what they get to do is they're just doing this fun wilderness walking combined with a Dart River jet safari. So basically, these are called the Southern Alps or the Alps of New Zealand, and they get to go on the jet boat. So the jet boat is a Kiwi innovation, and basically it's a way to just cruise the river. And they stop frequently, and they get to show you, all the geology and all the stories and the lore and everything. So basically, you go for a couple of hours in the jet boat, and then you get to meet at a secret spot on the banks of the Dart River. And then you get out and you get to hike through this native beech forest. Amazing birds, amazing, like you can hear them all through the forest as you're walking. And the only people that are allowed there are people, like if you're going on this little adventure, this little nature walk. So it's just completely private and really amazing. So along with that, you'll have a picnic lunch, and they'll have tea biscuits and local guides. And anyway, so it's just a really fun day to get out in the wilderness and to get out and about. So super fun. That is like the end of their trip. The next day they'll return their rental car and they will fly home from the Queenstown airport. The cool thing is on the way back, they actually lose a day because they're crossing the international date line. So the arrival time at home, usually with most flights, is earlier than the departure time that you even left Queenstown or you left New Zealand. So that is really cool. Anyway, it's really fun. So isn't that just like such a fun itinerary, and just so great to get to see what that amazing itinerary looks like. All of that was pretty great, right? And are you kind of excited about New Zealand? I mean, we know it's clear around the other side of the world, and you probably don't really think about it too much, but wouldn't it be so fun to do a trip kind of like that, like the one that I'm sending Danny and Braden on? Like I said, I can't wait to find out how it was for them and to hear all about it once they get back. But for you, let me know if you're ready to explore New Zealand. Besides just going on this type of trip, if you're more of a cruiser, there are cruises that visit Australia and New Zealand. And so you can see, a lot of the port cities and some of the local places if you wanted to go on a cruise, but you also could do a land trip like this if you don't want to do your own driving. There's escorted trips and things like that. So many ways to see New Zealand that would be so fun. So let me know when you are ready to explore New Zealand, and I would be more than happy to help you get there and to help create your perfect itinerary. Should be really great. So anyway, thanks for just coming along with me on this New Zealand trip today, and we'll talk to you next time. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I would invite you to like, share, or leave a review. Let's help grow our wellness travel community.